Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Ascension Messages. My name is Bobby. Hey, Jeannie in the chat bar. Good to see you. Right, today we're going to do some channel. We're going to do some channel messages. Before I start, I have a new video coming up on my new channel, which is Hidden Codes to the Wind and of the Wind. And so that one's going to be going up, I think, tomorrow morning, Australia time. I also have organized myself. Last night I had these, it's almost like everything's starting to weave together, and I think this is literally part of the channel message that's going to come through for this transformation that humanity is going through. So it was like a weaving together or understanding of how to form my business, especially my online business better. And I've realized now the new channel that I'm doing, Hidden Codes to Whatever, all of these beautiful messages that are coming through, some of them are very fresh, very new understandings, and some of them are backed onto things that I've been channeling all these years. And even information like the one with the wind, some of that came from the elder that I worked with. But then I realized my Patreon that I've got, which is a school which has a lot of telepathic games in it, and I wanted to expand more on the lesson side of things. I now feel that when I bring out one of my 5-minute beautiful videos, if you watch them, they're just gorgeous videos. Feel good, bring you into alignment with new awareness, new understanding. You can take from it what you like, leave the rest for somebody else that understands that there's no wrong or right here in the way that you move through this. But then they said, do a full lesson on my Patreon about what you've already channeled on the hidden codes, about ISIS, about, whatever it is. So that makes sense. So I'll still do my lives on this channel 2 times. I wouldn't mind. I've always had it in my head to just be channeling instead of doing the tarot. So I might peter out the tarot a bit, but I'll still bring up the free readings for others afterwards. I think that that's a good idea, just to feel the connection between those in the chat bar. So I'm sort of fine tuning this business now. And then every time I put up a codes to a new reality, hidden codes, or on the codes to a new reality YouTube that I got, the brand new one I've got, which is doing really well, by the way. We already have over 200 subscribers on that. So that's doing really well since it's only a month old. I'm really, really excited about that. And then I will go on Patreon and have the link there for Patreon to have the lesson, which will be on the AMAKEL score on Patreon with all of the telepathic lessons and so forth. So it really feels like it's starting to knit together now. I can see where my team's taking me, and I think this is what one of the channel messages of this transformation that's coming out is, that weaving together of a solid, sort of a grounded base that we are forming for being very authentic within ourselves, navigating our business in this world, whatever business it is for you. And I really feel there's this fine tuning of that, so that we have this very solid base as we're moving forward, for those that have done the work and understand themselves a lot more, a grounded feeling where abundance can come in as well. So also, I'm an intuitive counselor too, just saying that off the cuff. If you want a one-on-one session with me, the link is down below. Hey, Jeannie, Ane, good to see you, and Sky and Dedra and JP. Good to see you guys. A few from New York and America. Right, so we're going to get into this channel message. Now, as I was driving, I started to have this discussion with my team, and they were showing me the blind leading the blind. And it was really interesting. So they said, imagine here's this blind person, and everyone in this world is blind. And then they said, now there's a person that was born that could see. And the only way that that person could fit into the world that was present, that was full of blind people, was to put on a bandana across their eyes, or, walk around as if they were blind. And they said this is what the light workers have been doing. Those that have been awakening quicker than others up till now. And so they've been walking around blind because they wanted to be able to fit into the world, and they were told by their parents, their teachers, you can't feel that much, you can't see that much, you shouldn't be able to do all of that sort of stuff, you shouldn't be able to sense all of that, you shouldn't have those abilities, that's just too much. So, put your blindfold on, pretend that it's not there, shut it down. So as a light worker that's been shutting themselves down for a very long time, or someone from the stars, whatever you want to call them, I don't really care. We have to name them something. So name them whatever. People that have come with these understandings or higher gifts and understandings, and then they've shut themselves down to be able to fit in. Now, they said around 220, a lot more people. I mean, a lot of us took the blindfold off anyway and said we don't want to walk with that blindfold on. But we still had to keep on pretending like we had it on. And then some of us around 220, they're saying 210 to 220, decided to take this blindfold off more and more and more. But, when we wanted to fit in, we pretended that we had it on, that sort of thing. Now, with this transformation that's going on, we are completely taking this blindfold off and grounding ourselves as those that could see, feel, understand, have higher wisdom, a very expanded reality. And because of that, and realizing because of the people that have been blind have been tripping over each other, tripping over themselves and that sort of thing, bumping into each other, getting angry with each other, that sort of thing, through the darkness that they were in. We're just using this as a metaphor, by the way. Then they are now looking for a way out and wanting to see the light, kind of thing, wanting to see more, wanting to expand. They didn't realize that the expansion that was covered with fear would be the way out. It was the fear that was covering them and stopping them from moving forward. Now, we as light workers have realized that, or beings from the stars, or those that are awakening, that are powerful, code holders, I call them, witches, whatever you want to call them, those that are awakening to their divinity, their authentic self, they are now holding this wisdom, or seeing themselves as understanding that they can create an absolutely magnificent life on this planet. But they need to have more connection. They need to be able to take the blindfold off and connect more into the wisdom that the earth holds, the plants hold, the animals hold, the elements hold, the wisdom that's been hidden, and recognizing that themselves had these gifts all along, but the fear was overshadowing. So yeah, they showed me that. And they gave me some more information too, which I did write down. They said it's amazing how many people are put in power that are so ignorant. This is interesting. But then again, this is a mere reflection to how many ignorant thoughts rule you. So that's totally makes sense too. Here we are, we've got these thoughts in our heads that are putting us down, making us feel small, feeling victimized to the world and all of that sort of stuff. And they call those ignorant thoughts, jealousy and all that sort of stuff, ignorant thoughts. And then in a mere reflection, we have those that are leading, because those thoughts have been leading us individually. And so because everything outside of us is a mere reflection, we end up having the leaders in charge that are also ignorant. So when we start to do the work on ourselves, and then we are not going to be guided by those that are ignorant anymore. We move away from that, and we start to find those that we can work together with that are wanting to create the same sort of beautiful reality and grounded new businesses and adventures and stuff like that. They also said authenticity, when the outer self doesn't match their inner soul, that's inauthentic, right? And that doesn't just mean those who let their egos get the better of them by controlling many and looking like they are in charge, even though they're not in charge of their minds. That's inauthentic. It also counts, they said, for those who have hidden their powers of their souls in order to fit in, like the blindfold story, and become a victim to their world. Both are inauthentic. So if your soul is very highly charged soul of wisdom and power, but you didn't want to be seen that way because the rest of the world would think of you as, put you on a pedestal, or they would think you're just crap, just this load of crap, and you are using your ego, then you've taught yourself to hide yourself in amongst many. So yeah, this transformation is a real uncovering of those people that have been keeping themselves in a lower field of existence to be able to handle living with humanity. We also have, as they wake up, they take off the blindfold and they see that there's not many people in this world that don't have blindfolds on. There's not many people in this world that really see like they see. So then they feel alone. And so that loneliness will shut ourselves into a hermit stage. And that loneliness has actually been an asset to the next level up, which was to face oneself and find true love within oneself. So you're no longer looking for love outside of yourself. If love comes outside of yourself, it's a mere reflection of the love that you had within you. And that means all your relationships will be in line with who you truly are from then on, because you're authentically in a space of love. And so you can only bring in those, or you'll only feel or choose to want to be around those that have the same vibrational meat of the love that you've found from within yourself. So yes, it will feel lonely for a while, because you're in a world of people with a lot of blindfolds on. But there are many of us waking up at the same time, so that we don't stay in the lonely phase. We will have our reflection waking up at the same time, and they're showing me two souls that come together, even if they're on the other side of the world of each other, that are both waking up at the same time, so that they magnetize themselves together, a little bit like Sky and me, going to New York and meeting all these beautiful people in New York, and I felt so in line with them over there. I come back to Australia and I'm like, okay, I'm hiding myself again. Until I navigate here, but I'm also realizing that I needed to have my own space and time to really, really, really find that love within myself and never feel lonely again. I need to be able to not feel lonely again, to be able to step out, and then I can be really, truly, authentically me, even amongst those that are blinded by the light, sort of thing. yeah, it will change up everything, because then you become the guides for them. And we're not talking leaders as in controlling. We're just talking about, you've gone through the experience, you can share the experience, they can take it or they can leave it. It's not about being a leader and pushing somebody into a corner and making them listen to you. It's about just expressing who you are authentically, and then allowing them to come in if they are interested or if they are not. There is no wrong or right, remember, and there definitely, but they're telling me, my team's telling me, there's definitely a lot that want to get out. They want to take off that blindfold, which has really been blinding them from their intuitive, feeling-based feminine side that's got a lot of gifts. They also said, we have been tricked into thinking that bad people always exist and we will always have to navigate through them. And that's a really powerful one to be tricked with, because, you're awake, you're going to be tricked. You're going to have somebody that's going to come in. You always have someone out there that's going to be really negative, that's going to bring you down, that's going to make you feel small. But what happens is when you start to awaken, you start to wake up to feeling them before they even come into your reality. And you navigate your path through love. It's different. So they said, I'll just read that again and then we'll go into this properly. We've been tricked into thinking that bad people always exist and we will always have to navigate through them. That out in the cosmos, we will find beings that are out to get us, and we should worry about the worst happening. And it's on all the movies out there, right? Because of our own fear inside, we don't want to expand. We don't want to become better than who, try, be the authentic self that we are. What happens if we go out into the big cosmos of the universe, and then we'll meet all these bad, negative people? And so we have all these movies that come up and show us, you're going to end up having to face all these really demonic sort of creatures that are keeping you in the fear. They said, but all of this is actually happening to us because of our fear. Fear mirrors fear, as those that say they are victims also turn into narcissists if they feel threatened, giving their reasoning that they had to protect themselves by controlling another. So a narcissist is a victim is a narcissist. They flip. Some hold victimization for a lot more, and some hold perpetrator a lot more. But there's a flip side to both sides. If you hold one, you will hold the other. It all stems from the central fact of being afraid of your power, afraid of your authenticity, afraid of how the rest of the world is going to see you. But once you see this in yourself, your approach to life will become clearer and clearer. And then you become more empathic. The more empathic, the easier to trust your feelings, as your feelings put you in the right place at the right time to meet people and circumstances mirroring your happiness. And then you are no longer in fear, because you know what you are moving towards and you choose a path that feels better. And I've brought this up before as well, but it really is important at the moment through this transformation. Now, the whole of humanity is going through a massive shift. It's mainly because of those that are coming from the stars and understand or have understanding of their soul, a lot wiser in their empathic nature, to be able to pull through the wisdom of those that come from different realities. Even alien lives that are living on Earth and have been hiding away will slowly start to come out, or the stories will slowly start to come out of those that had interactions with them in the past. And you will see the truth, because you will see the person who is speaking without ego. You won't be confused about that. So you'll be able to follow those or be guided by those that have had the experiences and are coming forth with the understanding or the truth of what that all means. You you take from it what you need, and you ask and use it to develop your own self. So use it to develop the parts of yourself that you have been hiding via fear and being the victim. You use it now to shift things, and realize that you will be able to see the truth as you move along. So this is like a game of understanding what the truth is, because humanity's consciousness was trapped in a lie, trapped in deception, trapped in covering us up in a feeling of fear, and not trusting our soul, navigating ourselves out of that fear. So they're bringing me to the Mayan temples, and when they used to, when the masculine was rising, the only way to control, because it was out of kilter, it didn't have the soul's connection anymore, and it had to look for a leader outside of itself to be able to feel like. So even those that were so-called in charge of those cities or those ancient places and sites had other beings in charge of them, and navigating all from the base of fear. So they would project fear onto the people, and then the storylines of, the Mayan temples and the sacrifices and all that sort of stuff happen. And then the people, because they were shutting, it was like the energy of humanity was shutting down from the connection to their soul. They were all looking for someone outside them to guide them, and that fear started to guide them. So because they didn't have the connection to their soul, which is coming from love, and that was the shutdown, that was the disempowerment, that's what closed humanity off, the fall that humanity went into. So to awaken something like that, source energy in its infinite right, and same with Gaia, Earth herself, decided to bring through people from the stars that had a very strong connection to their soul, knew their soul very strongly, and come straight from there. So they had to fall very far to come here. So but when they fell, so they become a victim too, in the circumstances that they were surrounded with, feeling completely alone, and only being navigated by those that had the blindfolds on. And so, they were then asked to come through, and they were the meek. They were the ones that were crying all the time. They felt really, really alone. I know I did. And so as we woke up, as we started to wake up to the fact that we have to find this inner core within ourselves to be able to find it outside of ourselves. Again, the connection was always there with me, with my soul. So I had a lot of help. I had a lot of visions and stuff like that. Awaken. Come on, you are better than this. And I put myself in a lot of kind of dark places so that I was compressed, so that I would burst out because of my connection with my soul. It wouldn't be able to handle it, and so it awoke me quicker. So some of the people that are awakening now are going to go through the dark night of the soul. That's what I would call the dark night of the soul, being compressed to the point where there's only one way out, and that is to release, and then you end up awakening to your more authentic self, because it's the only thing left that is residing in the essence of love. And so you start to move towards loving yourself more, and in every aspect, every unique, very different aspect that you hold. And that is when you start to ground all of this wisdom into businesses and stuff like that on this planet, which are now navigating through love. And so, the spark is already lit. They're showing me the spark is already lit. like the bomb over here. They're showing me the cartoon things where they have the bomb and then the line and then the sparks lit. That's what they're saying. There's no turning back now, because that spark getting closer to the bomb is more to do with the light expansion of an awareness of humanity, realizing they've been playing a fear-based game, which has created a fear-based reality. And the only way to step out of that is to start with the inner core, loving oneself, and finding strength in that, because you find strength in the love of oneself when you're no longer looking outside of yourself for guidance, as in fear-based guidance. You are more a magnet to love guidance and that sort of thing coming through. So yeah, it's full on at the moment though, because I don't know whether that big bang is something that is going to actually happen, as in a spark of consciousness that just explodes. It's very interesting that they showed it to me in that way. Whether something is, okay, they're saying individually you are your own light lit that sparks your own consciousness into realizing all I have to do is approach life through love, inner and outer. So if you love yourself enough, you will find everything outside of you as love as well. Every plant, every weed, everything. And then you're like, oh my God, I am here. They're showing me an awakening to, oh my God, I am on earth and it has so much to offer. And I haven't even been seeing it. I've been playing this corridor game of going into offices and doing 9-to-5 jobs and just closing my eyes and doing what I need to do. And all of my beautiful love energy has been siphoned off to those beings that started the game in the first place. But they were supposed to start the game because there was a collaboration of source energy itself saying humanity is awakening too quick for their own boots. Children playing with matches, and I have brought that up in channelings before. So it was like we ourselves as souls and beings, the higher beings, and the infinite cosmos of all energy, wanted to savor the beauty of humanity, but to be able to do that for us to navigate and understand ourselves better in a very physical based world, we had to be locked down. And that's why in 220, we were locked down. We had to face the fact that we were in a locked down situation. That was the mere reflection of that lockdown, coming to a pinnacle point where we could expand from that point out again. And that they actually instigated those that were trying to keep control over everything, actually instigated the spark, the light being shone on everything that was fear-based. And many are going to awaken up in different levels. So some are not there and some are really there. And it depends on where you are at as to what you are interacting with as well. So the more that you become aware and awake, though, those that aren't, you'll start to pull yourself away from them more, and just shine your light over here. They will come in and out of your life, but each time you're like planting a seed or shining more light. They won't be able to handle your light much anyway, because it shines too much on them, and it's like that compressed feeling again, that where the soul is getting compressed into, because the light that shines on the darkness means that they have to face their own darkness within themselves. So you could be a walking guiding light just by being authentically you, your energy that you hold when you walk through, malls and that sort of thing, and bigger crowds and stuff. I know I've still been placed in a lot of crowds sometimes, and I can handle it for so long, but then I have to come back home and decompress. And decompress to me is just do whatever makes me feel happy in my own space. But eventually, because of the light that we hold, we're also going to magnetize partnerships, new relationships, and that sort of thing in our reality, in our reality, that are going to help. One will help the other always. You will always have a central space in that love essence of knowing who you are, and you won't be reliant on the other person to give you that love anymore. So there's no codependency relationship there, but still they're showing me a leveling of sometimes you might have to work on something and the other person is holding the light for you, and that sort of thing as you go through your life. A lot more fun, a lot more happiness, a lot more laughter. And it's in response to the natural urge of humanity needing each other. So you are human, even if you have come from the stars or whatever, you are human now. And so you have a natural tendency to want to connect. That is generally the essence of love anyway, wanting to connect with others, because it's in our connection that we share, and then we expand even more as well. So all beings out there in higher dimensions have a lot of connections, but they also can decompress, go out into the forest or the lakes or whatever, and really feel just at one with all, without other beings contacting them too. I don't know whether they're taking me to Pleiades at the moment, so that's really interesting. Right. So this transformation is literally going to be awakening. There are beings on earth that we have been in fear of, has been held in captivity, sort of awareness of it by the armies and that sort of thing. They have known about them, they've worked with them, they've seen them, or they've kind of kept their distance from them, but know that they're there. They are still in fear of them. But there's something about the more that awaken in humanity's consciousness, it's like the more that these beings are going to be showing themselves, because they're not so afraid. They've been waiting for the fear to drop in humanity. We're thinking that they're afraid of us. They're only afraid of the fact that we're in fear ourselves. They're showing me when I came to this house that, the lovely family. I haven't met them. I don't. They're just like, the key is there, and you walk in, and there's a dog, and I knew it was going to be a bit of a transition, because this dog's never met me, and we don't know each other from, there's been no introduction. So I opened the door. I knew it. Barked his head off for 20 minutes. It's because it's afraid. And it's kind of like, I just sat there on the ground, and I put a few of my belongings around so I could sniff them. And I sat on the ground, and I just calmly stayed there and talked calmly to it, and just, had a treat in my hand, and just, it didn't like the treat that I had in my hand. Still won't eat that treat, so that's funny. But it took a good 20, 30 minutes before it finally sniffed around and then went, oh, you're not a threat. See, this is what they're showing me with the beings. They haven't been so much in fear of us, other than our own fear reflecting back. So they've been calmly waiting for us, and they are living on Earth. There are many beings that are here on Earth that have been in places that humanity haven't been to. It's a big world. It's a bigger world than what we've been told. We've been told that we're overpopulating. It's not there's a lot more space in this world than what we've been told. And in those places, there's beings that are living in these high dimensions and coming into this dimension as well, to slowly, because they knew that we were coming to them, because we were going to click, but they're kind of keeping an eye on us as we're navigating to it's like we're now sniffing around like the dog was, seeing what's there, and feeling into the fact that we've found self-love within ourselves, and that we can trust our own vibration. And if their vibrational meat is of a higher essence, we won't have the fear anymore, because we understand, we trust our inner feelings, we trust our intuition. So there's that's happening as well, going to happen, or it is happening. They're saying it's happening. So there's going to be groups and pods of people that are going to these places that have been well and truly hidden. They'll just go there anyway. It's not something that you plan. When you trust your soul, it just sort of happens. Yeah, so that's going to happen as well. And this is why they're saying there's no turning. There was never any turning back anyway. This was all going to happen. Humanity was going to awaken because we couldn't stay in that very tormented place forever. The cycle would keep going. It's like somebody who is in their tormented fear-based program. When you're aware and awake, you watch them and you're like, you just need to see life from a different perspective and just see, come back to yourself and trust your feelings and that. And they keep on going back to narcissist relationships and stuff like that. And, you just keep going. And you just got to stand there and hope that they step out of being a victim and shine your light and that sort of thing. So anyways, that's happening at the moment. They are showing me now the comets. Many gathering of comets are coming here. Some of them are. They're showing me beings on those comets. They're not comets. There's something to do with. There already were. It's like the awakening of those that are on Earth have sprouted their awareness to the fact that light workers have awoken in humanity's consciousness, and they are now starting to realize we are getting closer. So too are we starting to see it, and over the news it would just be a comet because they've still got their blindfold on. But many of us are starting to awaken to the fact that Atlas, I think it's Atlas, one of my beautiful fans said, have you heard of Atlas? And I hadn't. And then as soon as she'd said that, it came up in my reality everywhere. So, and there's another really big one that's coming. I've forgotten the name of it, but there's a few of them that are coming together at the moment, and they're showing me that as a reflection of the gathering that's happening within humanity's consciousness, of these other beings awakening that are on Earth already, a gathering of us aligning with more light and more awareness and not so much fear. There's a gathering that's happening. So we might even find, if you are very awake and you are a star being, you've come from another planet, that you will have these interactions coming your way. But they wanted us to ground first. They wanted us to ground a business first. They wanted us to feel stable on this planet before they started to show themselves. Because if we weren't grounded here, we would probably want to take off with them. And that's not what was supposed to happen. What was supposed to happen is that we were supposed to, the light workers and those that come from other dimensions and other stars and other planets, I mean, they were supposed to awaken and then ground their energy into Earth to help awaken many more, and build businesses of adventure and fun and excitement and healing that has fun around it and that sort of thing. It's not boring anymore. And so that's why you might not have had any interaction until you really have a solid grounding, and you might not meet with them until you've found, if you were supposed to have a partner that helped you, as in the reflection of your own mind, intuition meeting logic, logic loving intuition, intuition loving logic, that sort of thing within you, creating another outside of you that is more masculine or feminine based, coming together to work on the business, and then and ground it even more. And then they're showing me an expansion of actual interaction with beings. Like showing me this face of an alien, beautiful. Gosh, I wish you could see what is in my mind. It's just a beautiful feeling and soft and gentle, but they have very big eyes. Yeah, anyways, and a paler skin and that. So that's going to all happen. So, thanks, Janine. I was like really in my space there. I haven't even been watching the chat bar. JPG, wow. Yeah, cool. So these things are going to take place because of expansion of awareness of humanity as we move along. See if there's anything else that's coming through. So yeah, transformation. They wanted me to put that pearly butterfly there. Something to do with colors are going to become more as well. If you were born like I was in the 60s, there wasn't so many colors, and I was literally walking around with my two adult daughters in the shops and saying, "Wow, there's so many iridescent colors now." In the 60s, there wasn't so much with that sort of thing. And now it's kind of like everywhere. And that's because we are starting to expand even our color range. And so we'll expand our color range. They're showing me into these different frequency alignments of where everything sparkles a lot more. It's like got life within the color. There's like understanding of life within the color, which is interesting. Dog's growling. She's probably going to bark in a minute. Sorry if she does, if he does. Anyways, so yeah, there's something to do with this sparkle of life within color. They're showing me these beings that have these different kind of colors that fluctuate within them, and they literally communicate through the colors that are on their skin. As their skin changes colors, there's actual communication with each other. I have never seen that before, not even on a movie. So that's really interesting. Yeah, so a being that has communication through color vibration on their skin that appears. And they can have full-on awarenesses and conversations through this interaction of each other. That's so beautiful. I really wish that you guys could feel or see what I see in my head when they show me these images. I'm trying to explain it as well as what I possibly can. They want us to awaken to these different ways of senses. And we had these senses back in Atlantis, Lemuria, but they're saying even expanding more. When the logic starts to embrace the feminine again, the feminine awaken, but the feminine now starts to have absolute respect for the logic. And so we're grounding all this energy and being able to have physical interaction with these other beings that have these uniquenesses about them. So before they come, the messages will be spoken or thought of, or a wisdom of channel energy or wisdom coming through. And then that is shared out to the world. And then that gives a lift of us being able to be ready for them to come. So we're not so, whoa, that's just too much in our face, way too much. I'm feeling very, very lightheaded at the moment. So it's like that. It's like if you're in a lighter awareness of channeling, you almost have to, it's not a space that I'm used to being in all the time. It's so light that it feels woozy. And if you get used to that woozy, then it becomes your natural, like your norm that you move through. And then you are more interacting with those that are in that space. But that's kind of like it's like stepping up onto a stepping stone that's in another frequency or dimension, and you feel wobbly to begin with. But then we're going to get these fuller awarenesses of these different beings, how they navigate life through different feelings. And if you are an awareness of that, then you have that ability to move towards that as well. So they're showing me the evolution of the body actually over time, recognizing the gift in that kind of communication and becoming that in the future. So there's all these ways where we can branch off into different futuristic beings. We're talking thousands of years of evolution and stuff like that, but then they're saying time isn't even relevant. So it's like but then they're showing me the logic makes it relevant, and so we need to also respect that. And so there's a story of time moving through that so that we can have a lineal story of progress. Oh my gosh. As we go through. I say it's really good because I could feel them. They're like clapping and going, "Well done, you're expressing this well." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm expressing this well." Yeah. So there's this whole evolution of pointing ourselves into a direction that could be in alignment with them, but that we're still human moving towards our own awakening. So it won't be exactly like them because they come from a different planet, different system, different everything. So it will be total. Yeah. They're showing me, it's like when somebody blushes and you know that they're blushing, you know how they're feeling, you know that they're embarrassed in that moment. It's kind of like that. But for them, it's actual communication, like full on wisdom. And it goes so, it's the outer world and the inner world is authentic. That is where authenticity meets, where our bodies are showing our authentic truth. They're saying that's why, like, I come from Pleiades. I'm a strong soul from Pleiades. And so I was born with the blonde hair, that's why I'm born with the blonde hair. I mean, it's gone brown now. I've been here for so long that it's doing the salt and pepper, and I do dye it now, but very, very white hair when I was little, and blonde right up till 30 something. But they said that the more grounded I become, the more that it become that. And so, yeah, they're showing me things like that. This is why you can actually see people for who they are, where they come from, their soul comes from. They literally are wearing their authentic truth on their face. Those that have been through a lot, life after life after life, which is they tend to age quicker. Because they are carrying a lot of burdens, and they carried a lot of codes for us in the future. And that's why I've always got admiration for those that have been through all of those lifetimes. Then those that are coming from the elemental world might have the little pointy ears, showing me even slantier eyes sometimes, but very beautiful. Yeah, so you'll see that sort of thing happening. But they're bringing that up because there's something to do with the evolution of humanity and where we want to go next. So as we are awakening and transforming into these different paths, we're going to have a lot of choices, and our choices are going to be more relevant to what makes us feel good in the moment, because that's the better choice to make. So our love of ourselves is driving us towards a specific, or humanity towards a specific evolutional path. And that's bringing in these different beings that's going to navigate with humanity. Silver Serpent. Okay, where are we going? Now they're bringing me to Mother Shipton's poem, The Silver Serpent, and there's one of her verses is to do with the silver serpent, that children are awakening, are now born, and we are that. Those that are awakening, we are that, in her verse of her poem. So go look up Mother Shipton's poem. It's very long. She saw so much. and she had to write it down in a way that she could understand. So just like I'm doing now with you guys, I have a limited expression of words, a limited English language, and I'm not very good at English anyway. So I keep it very basic when I talk. But I wanted it to be that way so that I could talk to many rather than just a few, because if I had a higher level of language, then I might lose some people. But they're showing me her. She had her way of expressing what she saw. And now you can look back at her poems. So she would say metal birds in the sky, which are planes and stuff like that. So now they're showing me in the now, giving you guys information. And then when we look back, we're like, oh, she only saw it like that, because that's the only way that the limited concept of where I come from in the now. But there's all this that's attached to it. It's not just a metal bird in the sky. It's an aeroplane where people actually jump in the aeroplanes and can travel from one side of the world to the other. And on the engines and how that works and all of that sort of thing, pilots and, going into the jobs of being a pilot. And there's a lot more to the story they're showing me. But I can give you what I can give you. I only give you what I can give you. So I can feel there's more when I'm telling you these stories about these other beings that are coming towards us that have this, different communication levels and all that. I can feel more. But I can't, it's hard for me to express it. But it feels good. It does, it feels so good. Yeah. Okay. Communication with feelings and not words. Yeah, telepathy would be way easier. See, when we're telepathic, it would just be like, let me tell you a story. Then we all sit down, let's tune in together. I'd love my AMAKEL school to turn into that. That's where I would love that to go. Let's all tune in together. And then boom, here's the story. My soul has been here, and I can remember it so well. And then you'll be able to walk with me on Pleiades. That would be beautiful. Or, it's not Pleiades, it's actually different planets around the stars of Maya and all the different stars there. Where they call them something different. This is what humanity calls them, although very close to, they said, because we did have Pleiadians here in the Atlantis Lemuria age that was guiding humanity then. So they told humans of the names, but some of the names, they're showing me an African tribe that speaks through clicking, and they couldn't put those bits in. Okay, so yeah, that's really interesting too. Let's see if there's anything else for us at the moment. Anyway, this transformation is going to happen. Let's get back on topic. The transformation is definitely happening. Please be gentle on yourself as you go through this. What's going to happen is you're going to start to release the needing to know and trusting in the now moment as you proceed along. That you are going to navigate yourself towards the right place and the right circumstance anyway. Even though you can only see maybe in your future up to a certain point. I know I can. I only know up to the next house set, kind of where I'm going. And so it's only a couple of months in advance. And then from there, it's like this empty space of wide open possibilities. You might feel that. There's a reason why that's happening. It's because they don't want you to become too entangled into a future line that will take you into a place that's too limited. Because as you're awakening, you'll expand more, and then you have new stories coming that develop that can take you in a totally different path. And if you already have set out your future for the next 5 years, then it's kind of just your logical brain wants to keep safe, so it will keep you on that path. That's really interesting, because I was wondering why I'm in a house sitting sort of situation. And it makes sense, because if we're wanting to expand more, and especially those that are wanting to expand even more, then now in this moment of time, as we're going through what they call the eye of the needle, just learning to absolutely love oneself completely, then at the other end of the expansion, we could be carving a completely different path than what it is now. So they don't want us to hang on to and onto our future too hard. But eventually it will settle, and you will bring in the right people, and you'll feel happier with those people, so happy with those people, so happy with those relationships, that it will settle. And you'll go, this is me for the rest of my life. And that means that you have grounded, you'll find people that are grounding the same similar businesses and stuff like that. That's why that's happening as well. So yeah, but they are showing me shifts and changes, and even in the dynamics of those relationships. But they have an understanding of awareness that nothing is concrete anymore, because they've learned how, through this transition, to go with the flow a lot more and trust the navigation of their souls, taking them to the right location, the right place. Because I'm zipping back and forth. One space, like North Brisbane, South Brisbane. I'm going back and forth with these house sitting. It's like I don't know, there's some sort of covering I'm doing or something happening there, energetic something, encapsulating the whole of Brisbane. I don't know, but there's something there. Yeah. Anyway, if you find yourself in a position where you don't know what's happening in your future, just stay as present as you can and trust that you are navigating your life through love, and each moment's okay. It's okay. You're going to be safe. You will be safe. All of those that are working in this work will be safe. So please don't feel too... I know I have little moments, not many anymore actually, but I have little moments where I'm like, how's this all going to work? My logical brain starts to take over, but not as many anymore. And I'm a lot more settled with my emotions as well. It's starting to settle. Yeah. Anyways, guys, very good. Okay, I think we've chatted enough. Yeah, so I will go live again this week, and probably the same time on Thursday. And yeah, I will bring in the tarot, but I want to channel more. So I'll probably do more channeling with a few tarots, and then we'll do some free chat bar readings at the end, because that's always fun. Yeah, but if you want to have a look at my new channel, Codes to a New Reality, that's brand new, only a month old. Please go and subscribe to that. And then if you want to be part of Patreon, yeah, I'm definitely going to do lessons on those hidden codes, because there's a lot more information that wants to come through. But the hidden codes are so beautiful. Like it takes me a whole week to put these together. So I'm working my butt off at the moment to put all this together, but I'm trying to do the best I can, and trust that it's all going to work out. Okay. Thank you, JP. Thank you, Nicole. I will have a super, super duper day. Until next time, guys. Bye.